Hello there, friends and family and comrades. I'm coming to you now from Detroit, Michigan, and I'm in the Packard Automotive plant. Very interesting place. Totally abandoned factory. You can kind of see around me some of the vestiges of something that was once amazing and beautiful and innovative. Many of the Packard Automotive Company cars, particularly the luxury ones, were built here. And you can see that now it is completely abandoned. There's entire sections of this, huge swaths that have been totally stripped of all materials. You've had vandals who've come and taken all the wiring and pipes and metals and anything that was worth anything. So the whole place is in total disrepair. This is Detroit. Pretty interesting to see. There's like probably about 4 floors that you can climb up. There's probably about 3 of them that I will not climb up because I don't know about the stairs. I could probably fall. But you're just kind of seeing the vestiges of Detroit. Yeah, check that out. So I was interested in this kind of story because I read a great book by a local journalist who kind of brought about the downfall of Detroit in his own words. He was able to write stories about what was happening with the politicians and the corruption and how they're throwing all of their kind of chips in the idea that people would be buying cars forever and they'd be based here in Detroit and in the state of Michigan. And you know, unfortunately, that was kind of the dream that popped. So you can kind of see now what the Packard plant looks like from this. I'll kind of turn. Check that out, baby. There's so many sections of this that you have to see. So many areas where you don't have much light either, but again, this is just one section. When was the building abandoned? From what I was able to read, it was really in the early 2000s that they weren't aware of it anymore, and it's kind of been sold over and over again. The tax authorities have come in and taken it over, and then a kind of holding company was able to buy it just a couple of years ago, and they've promised to renovate, but there's not much going on. I mean, I think the building itself is in such disrepair that it would take a lot of damn resources to try to put it together. So yeah, it's the Packard Automotive plant here in Detroit, Michigan. That's what I like to do for fun during the week. That's the cool stuff that we get to do. So I'll take you to the other side here. Damn. Yeah, you can actually see old car seats. You can see just how far down it goes. So this was the Packard Automotive plant, Frederick. Just for the Packard Automotive Company. They made really nice luxury cars for many years. Yeah. Now it's just miles and miles and miles that stretch of abandoned factory and building. I could probably walk around here and get lost. It's a pretty big facility. Probably shoot a couple movies or pornos, depending on who I could cast. But yeah, it's pretty spooky. Here we can kind of see the outside a bit, the other abandoned parts. Freaky. I actually don't even remember how I got up here. So I need to figure that out. I think I came up the stairs. So I haven't seen anybody here. Ooh, this is like super creepy. Very dark room, not much light. Totally abandoned. So there are a couple of these in Detroit. You know, it's on the way here, there were plenty of abandoned houses. You can tell they've been in total disrepair for many years. And then for this is just one of many factories. You know, there are a couple. There are at least 4 or 5 I was quickly able to find on the map with rudimentary research. And it's obviously not the main purpose of my trip, but yeah, it's like Berlin style, but we haven't gotten the gentrification and the renovation just yet. So instead, we just have an empty building. Look at that, stretching on different sections. If I was a skateboarder or a kid who's interested in some havoc, I could probably have a good time. But yeah, you can kind of see this is like an old belt shaft. Luckily they had cars that they were bringing up and down. So yeah, in terms of what local authorities are doing, there's not much they can do. They can kind of try to fix things up. They can force the owners, whoever does own it, to kind of make things a bit safer. But you know, when the places have been sold so many times over, and then it just becomes companies and no one really knows who's responsible, this kind of stuff just kind of falls into, yeah, basically into the state you see now. No changes. A lot of kind of old abandoned things here. So this is the Detroit, was once the capital of car building in North America and really throughout much of the world. Because of unions and because of the lower cost of labor in other countries, a lot of the work was shipped overseas. You have a lot of things that are assembled in Mexico now or in different parts of Canada. Some things are done in Wisconsin, a lot of things in China, India. So it's a nice little view of what's happening now in Detroit. Look at this craziness. It's just so fascinating how it goes back too. Just kind of goes on forever. So yeah, that's my little report coming from Detroit. I figured if I was here for a day or two, I might as well try to see what's happening here on site. Primary sources are important. Always good to understand what's happening and see it with your own eyes. Because if you don't have actual experiences, then how are you supposed to understand anything? How are you supposed to know what's truthful and what's not? So there's your nice little educational lesson on the Packard Automotive plant here in Detroit, Michigan. I'm sure there's a dozen more I could easily drive to today, but yeah, it's a bit too spooky for me right now, and I need to figure out how the hell I can get out of this building now. So I have no idea how I came up. I'm surprised there's no one here. I think there'd be a bum or two or someone hanging around. So it goes. Bonne nuit, Frédéric. Yeah. Anyways, I'm gonna get back to the staircase, pop on down, see what's happening on the inner cities. Ah, there we go. Look at this stairwell. Beautiful. Yeah. Unfortunately, I left my meth in the car, so I don't have any with me, but a lot of cool scenes here. Yeah, now we're gonna safely try to navigate our stairs, hoping they don't crumble and such. I don't think they will. I think we're kind of safe here. Yeah, I'm just a white guy in a button down, doing some urban exploring. Nothing wrong with that, right? Nothing wrong with that at all. Give you a last look. Blankets and abandonment. Despair. The once beautiful city, its industriousness lost to the ages, lost to rust, lost to decay. And here it stands as a shell of its former self. Detroit. Not a bad time. You guys have